Hey, what's the matter, you?
Great thing. So one of the songs, or one of the popular songs there is Society. So
Yeah,
we'll try that one.
it's a good song.
Oh, it's a mystery to me. We have agreed, wish we all agree. Think you have to want more than you need. Have it all, you won't be free. Society, you crazy breed. You're not lonely without me. Society, crazy indeed. Hope you're not lonely without me.
Guidos!
Wait, what was that song? I mean, what can we sing songs that we all know? I mean,
Yeah, that was from
what's
that.
that?
That is a classic. No,
Very classic. Like
That's
what,
from Into the
1960
Wild. That
classic?
was a good. That whole
What
album
was
is pretty good.
it
I
is.
don't know.
It's like I'm pretty sure the whole album.
Eddie Vedder is acoustic, right? He does basically acoustic.
Yeah, actually, I think the album is ukulele.
Oh, nice.
Or some of it's ukulele, but no, I did buy the album Into the Wild. It's a really good album.
I'm gonna have to start recording Mom when she comes over now.
Why?
Oh,
What
yeah.
happened?
I'm on air, so I'll try to be clean.
You're walking.
Holy cow, man! I'm telling you, and it doesn't matter how much patience I have. Anything, I lose it all in a matter of time. Um, it doesn't never fails. I try. I literally like prepare myself to try to make it through a day without wanting to go crazy. And so I'm going to tape it. I'm going to tape it so that then I can sort of let you guys, because it's like so comical and funny. In other words, I'll just give you a quick example. Like the person on the TV could go, yeah, so my mother came over. And then Mom would say, did her mother come over? I'm like, she just said her mother came over. I can only assume that since she said her mother came over, that her mother came over. I mean, it's like, things like that you're just like, oh, like, no. Or, I mean, she actually said some snide remark today, and I was like, Mom, you can't say snide remarks. You can't, that's not allowed. I didn't say a snide remark. So, like, I'm telling you, we butt heads. I really try not to butt heads.
What's the
I think,
definition of snide again?
Snide
you
is
know,
like snarky, kind of like
Like rude, like a rudeness to it, or is it
like rude, right? But in a subtle way,
yes.
like
And
it's like
she
with
loves to
with
do that.
plausible denial, like so. Oh, I was
Yes.
only kidding, or you're so sensitive.
Oh, I hate that
Yes.
shit.
And it's so funny because she says all of those things. And you're like, but I made it through the day.
This rolls right into the conversation then of
I
aging,
think
right?
so.
Because
That's what's so
It
weird.
it does, and I prepared some slides. Should I let me share my screen
yeah,
so you guys can see if you like what I prepared? So I would say that we can. Oh wait, where? Hold on. Sorry, share screen. Come on, share screen. All right, here we go. Share screen.
how old is Mom now? 83. Is that right, or
Yeah.
is she younger? That Dad's 85, I
43.
think, 86.
It's
Turning
1943.
1943. Interesting.
So why wouldn't this be showing my? All right,
You
hold
get
on.
to choose between entire thing, didn't it? Did it make you?
Yeah,
choose?
no, it's not. I would have expected it to show the application, but for some reason it's not showing it. That's fine. I'll just do entire screen. And I'll just close this. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
PowerPoint.
I did a little bit of PowerPoint. You know me, I like
He
PowerPoint.
loves PowerPoint.
Mine might just be a group of pictures.
That's too funny.
Sir, we need.
Using Microsoft was telling me I had to, resubscribe. I really hate the fact that you can no longer buy an application and have that application forever. Pay for it once. No, there's no more paying for anything once. Now everything's got to be a subscription.
Yep.
All right, so I was looking for the display.
You can get it pretty cheap on Black Friday though. Like if for the subscriptions are pretty cheap, at least.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, I don't doubt it. And again, I mean, it's even honestly, the subscription is not horrible. But honestly, I've looked at LibreOffice,
Yeah.
and it's really good. I'm pretty impressed.
Even Google Docs and slides and all that, they're pretty damn good. I don't see that big unless you're doing something really specific where you need all those little gizmos and gadgets and stuff. You can just get away with basic.
Absolutely.
Google Docs is pretty good. Anyway.
No, it's okay.
What
So
do we got here?
So I was doing this, thinking about this a little bit, and I have created like mottos for each of the decades, and it's kind of funny. So, Christian, you're still in your 40s, right? So we have these 3 decades. We're all in these 3 decades, right? The 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and beyond.
Yep.
So of course, besides the title, I really think the subtitle is really important, and that's of course a Stephen Covey quote. But I also really like, and some of this was with the help of ChatGPT. I described my model for the 40s, which I've had forever, which we'll get to in that slide. But it came up with, well, that's kind of the reckoning, recalibration, renaissance. So I kind of described what I wanted, and it came up with those 3 words, which I actually like. So let's start with this. So of course, this is a famous Stephen Covey quote from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I remember the part in the book because he talks about, like envision your funeral. And I think that's a good thing. Like, what would be your eulogy, at your funeral? What would the other people be saying? So I do think overall, for whatever decade you're in, I think this is great advice. Any thoughts on this?
Joe, go first.
I'm just trying to be honest
Go
in
ahead.
respect to no. We know this is great. I just want to be honest with respect to do I do that? Have I looked at the end, the complete end when I'm 120? That's pretty far out still. That's 55 years. I mean, who wants to look at?
Well, I know you're also, Christian, a fan of Marcus Aurelius, and he's also got, and I don't remember the exact quote, but he has a really interesting thing where he breaks it into days, and he's like, does it really matter if you're alive 5,025 days or 4,032 days? And it's just an interesting way to look at it. Like, the actual amount of time is almost irrelevant because you don't, of course, control that. So you got to kind of take the longevity assumption out of the picture.
I do believe that we'll be flexing here. I'm sure that as you go forward, you're going to have flexibility so that the end in mind, because I really wasn't expecting to be good. I really wasn't expecting to be taking Mom into, what was that? Flex? No, but I wasn't expecting to have, I want to help Mom, I really wasn't planning that. But then again, I don't see it taking the rest of my life to do that. But I love living with purpose, which I think is what we're setting up here. Because again, I really want to understand that now is the only time I can really live it. So it's like, yes, because that should set the precedence for what you're doing today, which is what I love, because it's the only time we can live. So it's like, so, okay, Chris?
I brought to mind a few things that health span is more important than lifespan. So your healthy years, so doing exercise and trying to meditate and do things, I think as I'm getting older, I feel the importance of those things increasing. But I also try and envision my death and envision, like, because I think that it's important to keep, um, you know, the importance of now is what you have. This is what you have. You can't plan too far ahead. You could die. You have to make some arrangements, of course. Like you can't be completely out of money, and you have to make some arrangements, but you also have to keep in mind what's right in front of you. What's
No,
important.
I think that's great. Absolutely. When you were doing that, because I have also done that, and but from an emotional standpoint, it's actually good. I actually find myself, the more I think about that, I actually really find myself getting sad. Like, uh, I mean, the obvious being, I don't want to go, and
Right.
I like my life and all that kind of stuff, and and I enjoy it. So it would be very. I do actually get like a sad feeling when I'm
Cool.
doing that kind of envisioning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. But it's funny, Christian. We just were speaking about this. I mean,
But that's part of how I think that understanding the mind is critical, because it'll always be, it's been shaped throughout the course of your life where we've been geared toward. You always got to do more. You always, I get that feeling like I haven't done enough constantly, but really what that's more like our conditioning. I think that's a lot of, you can do some things, and some things are very important to do, and you can help humanity, or you can just help the poor, or do whatever it is. That there are important things in life, but also you have to remember that life is short, and you have to, there are just, all of our priorities are kind of based on what we've been taught. It's not really what's I prioritize now a lot what's in front of me, and understanding that the mind is chaotic. It's always going to be telling you there's more to do. You have to just understand how that works for me.
No, I agree. I understand what you're saying, and I do agree. I think that's part of that, of course, is the balance, right? Balancing, enjoying the journey while still having kind of a vision. Um, Although I do think the one thing you got to watch there, of course, is sometimes you can be chaotic if you are unfocused, because people often equate activities with outcomes, and of course they're not equal at all. So if you don't have a very strong outcome or strong understanding of what you're trying to achieve, you can fill it with busy type stuff, right? Uh,
Absolutely. That's a
so
great point.
Yeah, and I think most people certainly do suffer from that. I don't think you suffer from it as much. I mean, I think you are very goal directed and that kind of stuff, which is a good thing. Um, there is also a there is a strategy where you can cast about a little bit to try different things, especially with the nibble approach. But then when you kind of focus on, then you'll hit a point where to accomplish any one of them, of course, you got to focus. So that can also be. But I wanted to circle back to what you were talking about in terms of health, and that's again quality over quantity. Living past 100, in a flipping wheelchair, with dementia, is not my idea of living anymore. Um, so I'm not saying that, hey, let's all be like Hemingway and blow our brains out with a shotgun after you get to the 50s. But on the other hand, I do understand that I want to continue to exercise to maintain a high quality of life and be able to move and be able to walk and be able to, do things and have fun. And I do believe exercises and especially working out is the golden ticket there. If you're not working out, especially when you age, you will not maintain strong bones and strong muscles, and you'll have a crappy quality of life.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into the decades. So Christian, how old are you now, Christian?
47.
Holy crap!
47. So you're well. Obviously, you passed the hump on the 40s, so you well know this point about sort of hitting the wall, especially in terms of your health, where everything that used to be easy is no longer easy. Your fast metabolism is no longer fast. So, of course, I've had that model forever, twice the effort for half the results, because that's what I witnessed,
Right.
What about you guys? What about the 40s that you either remember or are living?
It is. I know that just being mentally, all the pains as they start to, because you guys told me that all along. You're like, oh, it's good, just watch, and it's coming. And then everything you do, if you get hurt, it's just everything is slow to recover. I think really stretching daily, and I do keep the weightlifting up and doing all that stuff helps. Yeah, you got to keep doing that. Keeping busy, walking. I get out of now that I sit, because I sit at my job almost all day. I'll do like squats every 45 minutes or just get up and walk around, whatever it is. I have to do something like that.
No, that's absolutely true. Joe?
I think the 30s should be called something like the something where it's the reckless. I see a lot of 30-year-olds think that they don't quite like Christian. And I use you as an example because I remember we saying your 40s you're gonna feel it, and you're just right. You don't, because again, it's so hard to bring that realization to somebody who still feels in their 30s like they're the 20s, and I got so much energy. I can see it in Brian. I can see it in Jesse, our nephews, both in their 30s. And, Jesse doesn't work out. And, it's just telling Brian, yep, the day of reckoning is coming, because it was in my 40s, because I did the same foolish thing in my 30s where I was like, oh, I don't need to work out every day. I'm fit, and it caught up with me. And if like the beginning of the 40s was like, oh, pain and suffering, trying to get back into working out, you know what I mean? Get back into the stretching and the running and and I think it was all, I was fortunate enough to be writing a book with one of my brothers. And that intentional aspect was what saved me, because I was on the wrong path. I was not doing that. And I know now I would be paying severely, where I can still do the things. I know, look at how young I look. I mean, I barely breaking, like you can just see it in the rosy cheeks. I think it made the difference. It made all the difference. And I wish we could give them, how can you give them the wisdom in a pill? Because it's, we're fortunate. We have other family members that can't ride a bike, that can't run, that can't jog, that can't do the things that we're still doing. And, we struggle, obviously. We know the 50s, like we're going to get to it.
I'll give you a very simple example that's coming up. Now, so I've worked out since I was 15, and I never stopped, which I think I've enjoyed. Obviously, I enjoy working out. But it's getting ready to snow, and guess who's going to be sledding down my hill? This guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just was walking the dog, and it, again, like a horse, bucked, and I went head over heels again over the front end. Luckily, I'm smart enough to wear gloves right now, but I popped right back up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not hurt, and I know that's only because of the stretching,
Now,
of the
like you're
exercise.
saying, getting specific now, the 40s is where you really notice it. You really notice it. Whether it's, and again, of course, the metabolism, you notice that because that sneaks up on you. Like, well, where'd that gut come from? Where, it snuck up on me, or different, or like Christian was talking about recovery, because that's when you really notice the toll on the body.
Yeah. Wow.
Now the 50s. Oh, he's going to go to the 50s. Christian, get
Well,
your
okay,
pad
so
and
we're
pen.
going, now I'll enter
Now I'll just have to listen.
Joe's arena. I'm sorry, go ahead, Christian.
No, he said you were going to switch to the 50s, and I said I'd have to listen close.
Yes, but also, Joe, I did really like the Reckless. The 30s is the Reckless. It's a great addition. I'll have to update the slides. The 50s, the recalibration. I kind of let ChatGPT go a little wild on that model, but I think it's actually pretty good. In other words, once you kind of like what you were talking about, if you really take the lessons of the 40s, then you say, okay, so now what? And pretty much you already said this, Christian. Now you're like, okay, now I really need to now focus on this if you're smart. And to, like you said, you're looking at all the systems there. You can see it: joints, heart, energy, sleep, all of them, and mind, mental health too, all the aspects of health. And I will tell you now, in my 60s, health is the number one priority. Absolutely the number one priority. You may not be able to make it number one because obviously you got other responsibilities like family and kids, but the older you get, man, that sucker pops right up to number one.
And would you say that your psychological happiness, like your well-beingness, has gone up? That's what they say. Because I was asking ChatGPT, it was saying that the older people are more happy.
I definitely am. I mean, it's like, especially if not in every single aspect, right? I mean, I've had some issues with the boys in the last year, which it's really more around the Trump stuff, as well as the whole social media thing, which I ditched. So, I'm a very type of person where, I'm always actually doing this step right here, always kind of looking at myself, saying, what's good, what can improve, and then how do I improve it? So I took actions. Like I literally did. I dumped all my social media. I have none. I have none on my phone. I have no social media anymore because I still check mail, but it was pretty much that psychological well-being aspect as well as positivity. I know that my natural state is optimistic. I can't tell you. I mean, you guys know, you saw it a lot on Thanksgivings. Dad's basically a pessimist.
Yeah.
I had many disagreements and arguments with him, not like violent arguments, but definitely disagreements where he took the pessimistic side and I take the optimistic side. And I decided that, you know what? I'm gonna be an optimist. I'm gonna continue to be an optimist, and I am going to push away some of all the negativity, unless it directly affects me. Joe, though, I think Joe, being you're in the 50s, Joe, how old are you now?
Damn, one of the things that goes is your mind. It's, mid to late 50s. It's somewhere around there. The actual date, who's really 56? 56.
Nice.
56.
So,
Of course, I know his age because
Away.
he's the same age as Lynn. He's a little bit older than Lynn, but he's the same age as Lynn.
well, I have to add to that. There is, unfortunately, like this strength and muscle as survival assets. You're much more achy. You really have to focus on your body. You want, like when it says to protect the machine, sharpen the mind, it's like, okay, I'm getting significant back pain. You adapt your workout style to, okay, strengthen that work on this. You know, why is this? Because, you know, you're pushing yourself and all of a sudden you pass the limit. And you're like, damn it, I just heard this. It's like, oh, you son of a. And so now you got to back up. You got to let it heal. You got to adjust. And then you come at it again. And I can see it's like you want to keep trying to get that like 200-pounder, you know what I mean, in the bench press. But there's a point where you just have to say, okay, 180 is enough. 170 is enough. You know, what am I doing? You know, so you have to like sort of accept the fact that you crested the hill. You know, it's now that understanding, and you know, I you embrace it, but I wake up in that, you know, it's that pain. It's not a bad pain. It's not like a, oh my gosh, I need a pill pain. It's like just you're achy, and you know, it's like I got to push myself every morning to get out of bed, and so I find that my sleep has to be top priority because I can see when I wake up. And I've got it. Oh no! But then there's another day I wake up and I'm like, oh yeah! Like it's like so much starts with that correct sleep pattern that I can't tell you how much it means to the start of my day. And I can see my whole personality working around whether I got that the right start off. Obviously, there's no drinking. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Like we've passed that. That has its place, but it's not anywhere near, you know what I'm saying, where it's a part of our lives. It's now focused on, okay, hey, you know, it's Thanksgiving, let's have a glass of wine or something like that. But it's the drunken stupors, they're way gone. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Christian got me drunk back in it was at Dad's 4th of July, and I'll never forget it. He purposely went out to get me drunk. They had this flume. He was dropping the damn liquor on the top. Oh my God, my lip got stuck to the ice thing.
It was an ice luge.
I was so sick. I never drank. I haven't drank since, and that was so long ago.
Wait, so you were in your late 30s then? Were you in your late 30s?
Yeah, it was a long time
That's
ago.
a long time ago. Wow.
Long time ago. And I just brought that up as fun. No, I think that, you know,
that stuck out in your mind, though. That stuck out in your mind.
Well, I know that I've never been so sick in my life. That's the last time I've been sick. I would never throw up so much in my life. It was all because of the alcohol. Liquor, don't be sicker. Beer, have a cheer. What is that?
No, it's beer before liquor before beer. You're in the clear. Beer before liquor, never sicker.
I had beer before liquor, and I swear Christian was grinning. Christian was grinning.
I just find even now it's just the penalty is too high. It's not like in your 20s and 30s where you can just drink as much as you want. And even though you'd have a hangover after a cup of coffee, now it's like days of feeling like even just worn down. It's not necessarily a throbbing headache or any of that. It does affect me for days, and it's just not worth it. It's not my brain either. I think that the receptors have been rounded or numbed or whatever the fuck, because I don't get the same, you know, like I don't, like when you're younger you feel so good, euphoria, but that wears off over time. I mean, I don't get that same. It sucks.
The last thing I wanted to say
and it sucks.
No, but let's say like in a lot of these dystopian future movies and stuff, or they usually have some kind of compound, a pill or something they take that makes them kind of carefree, or like would you
Soma,
take
baby.
What?
Soma in Brave New World.
I was just thinking that. I couldn't get it off the top of my head. Yeah, Brave New World. They got the Soma, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I think, and honestly, when I was reading that, I'd be like, I would be one of them taking it. I would be taking it. I mean, honestly, I get why he doesn't. I get why there's, you know, I understand the thought behind it.
I'm still waiting till they can perfect the Android sex bots, because I'm gonna hit that shit.
You know, a lot of the older men that are wealthy in Mexico take testosterone shots, and they're like bulls. What do you care if you're in your 70s or your 80s? What are you going to die? Like, what the hell? You got to be joking me. And these men walk around like they're like a bull. I don't know how else to say it. It's like they have an enormous amount of energy. and they have two. Like in Mexico, if you don't have a woman on the side, you're not even considered, well off. Like it's just a status figure where you have a wife and a mistress, and that's just the way it is. And so, like you're saying,
So sad. That's so sad, especially for such a Christian country, right?
right?
So,
But you know what I mean. It's like that it's not a pill; it's a shot. I mean, those roids are. I mean, it's not testosterone, but like it just could easily as be roids. I mean, it's all who you know down there. There's no such thing as legal and illegal. I mean, they've got that, but not when you're well off. That's all. Whoever you pay, you get whatever the hell you want. And maybe it's not the testosterone. Maybe it's the roids. I know you have roid rage, but like, what gives you a lot of energy where you're like, is that
well, I mean, I know
steroids, right?
TRT is very
they're
effective.
probably doing TRT, testosterone replacement, right? So some of it is testosterone.
No, I
They
thought
could be
this like
doing
steroids.
steroids if they're weightlifting to get big.
Well, steroids also you can just take shots of. If I hear it, they'll give you energy.
Yeah, there's anabolic steroids, and there's different.
I don't know.
Anyway, at that age, I don't know. Like if I'm not able to walk,
But
and
it
you're
makes your
telling me
wiener
this-
smaller, supposedly.
what?
Supposedly, steroids makes your wiener smaller.
I know, but I don't. I
I've
think
never
it's
heard
a
that
certain
before.
amount
I heard
that
you
you have
makes
to
your
take.
testicles smaller.
I don't think it happens overnight, guys. And if like, are we measuring?
I don't know,
mean,
Joe. Did steroids make your wiener smaller?
no, I don't. I haven't done it. But like, if I'm in my 70s and I can't walk up a flight of stairs, you're telling me if you give me a pill, I can walk up a flight of stairs? Like, do I really want to be carried to the bathroom and have someone wipe my butt? I'm sorry. Then here's the pact. Kill me. When I get to there, you have permission.
But I mean, that's definitely psychological in terms of them having a mistress and doing it. They're pretending. Remember, it's still the Mexico is a macho society, right? It's all about
Yes.
bravado and macho and all that kind of crap. And,
Well, I do know that I'm thankful that I have this other brother who is like really, he likes to investigate all these things. And then he'll send me this text and it'll be like, you're supposed to have 200 grams of protein a day. And I was like, what the hell? I mean, like, I couldn't believe, like, Christian, he's up on these things, you know what I'm saying? And like,
hey, I don't get these texts, you bastard.
No, you have to pay for them. What do you think? This is free?
It's on a
He charges me.
It's
Everything's a subscription.
But like, what is it?
One other thing I wanted to point out in the 50s. Now, I think actually we are fairly fortunate that we have pretty good genetics in that, dad's parents live very old, dad's old, mom's still very healthy. But most people also in their 50s, obviously, I had something at 49, have a major surgery in their 50s, and that's something else to deal with. Now, this could be part of the 40s, like if they really abuse themselves, but from the 0 to 40 or 0 to 40s, and then all of a sudden, say, oh, a lot of people start really slipping gears, having a major surgery or something in their 50s. Wow. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because out of the three of us, from what I understand, I was only a half an hour in labor. Mike was born 2 months premature and shouldn't even have lived. And Christian was like 16 or 18 hours of labor. I don't know what that says. Joe wanted into the world and caused mom all the pain after. Christian right out of the bucket caused all the pain. Mike shouldn't even be here. In the 60s, like how the hell, like you like talk about, just like a miracle in its own right. That, I mean, what, you fit in palm of your hand, right? I mean, it was like something,
like
2.8 ounces, 2.8 pounds.
2.2 pounds, yeah.
Wow.
2.2 pounds. I mean, it was like in the 60s. His first 2 months of life was in a cubicle.
I didn't realize it was that you were that light. I thought it was heavier than that. Damn, that's light.
I was a blue baby, and I know there is some things. I know I had one person tell me that my bottom of my lungs may not be fully developed. He asked if I had emphysema. So that's not good, which means I got to keep my cardio up. But one doctor, when I had an eye bleed, probably from holding my breath. But when I had an eye bleed once, I went to an ophthalmologist, went to a retina specialist, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they didn't know what the hell it was. I told them, in the end, I said, I really think I was just holding my breath while doing dips. But anyway, he sent me, the retina specialist sent me to a hematologist. The hematologist said, you have 2 genes that are flipped. I'm like, really? And they took, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 vials of blood or whatever, did all of these blood tests. And I said, really? So what does that mean? We have no idea. But can I post this to the forum so we can discuss? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You know. Yeah.
Huh. That's wild.
That's something else. Is it just me? Like, I'm from Arizona, completely red. I was in the sun today. Mike's in between us both. He's got like this beige brown to him. Christian's as white as a ghost. Like,
It's cold out, man. I don't go in the sun a lot.
All right. So since Joe's the 50s representative here, do you have anything else you want to tell us about the 50s? Oh, the pressure.
Who wants to live forever?
That's a good song.
That's it. That's all I got to share.
All right, the 60s, the big 6-0. So since I turned 60 this year, you know, this actually, that's a ChatGPT slogan. I don't know if I like that one, but I do like the notion of the Renaissance, and I did work with them on this drawing, where, of course, you know, it's part of the same thing, the artistry. You are the artist. You can't look at this as doom and gloom. You can't worry about how many days I have left, et cetera, et cetera. You have to focus on a new chapter, next chapter, and you know, and keep that excitement alive. Keep putting interesting goals out there. I do like this idea of, you know, mentoring, teaching, creating, thinking about legacy, thinking about your kids and your grandkids, and what can you teach them, and how can we try to leave it a little bit better than when we got here. You know, being kind, being a little bit gentle with our parents, understanding that they did what they could do. They're flawed human beings, you know, and you know they're not going to change. You know, trying to change mom or dad at this stage is totally fruitless. So that's what I'm thinking about in terms of the 60s. You guys have any thoughts on the 60s?
Yes. I know that I used to attend a church with one of my friends. He was a colonel in the Army, and militarily, that's pretty up there.
Say that again?
Like in the military, a colonel's up there, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah, colonel's a big deal, especially full bird, not a light colonel.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, he had a certain commanding perspective, and it was just, he was really, really fun to be around. Long story short, I could always, when I attended his church, it was obviously all with old people. He was like 15, 20 years older than me. So he was definitely in his 60s going forward. And there would be people in their 70s and 80s there. And you could always see this difference between like those that were like highly energetic and those that were like needed a walker to get up to the front damn. It was so noticeable that I approached one of the guys that had a lot of energy, and I was like, okay, like, where's the secret of life? Like, where's the fountain of youth, dude? Like, where'd you get the, you know, where's the elixir? Give me. And I'm like, I want to know. He's just like, you know, I'll be honest with you. I know, obviously, it's all about the health and the exercises, but I think one of the most important things he said that you have to keep doing is plan your year. He said he always planned his year with his wife, and they always had things to look forward to.
Right.
Every, you know, like that was a very important thing to him for some reason. That understanding that you were making it the whole year, the understanding that you're looking forward to things, the understanding that you had purpose, that you had plans, goals, objectives. It did something to their psyche. I don't know, But that was his advice to me.
I think so. You want a direction. I mean, how many times have we said it doesn't even matter what direction? The worst thing I think a human being can do, and it's why it frustrates me so much with Johnny. The worst thing a human being can do is flounder, go in circles, be aimless. To me, that's the worst thing a human being can do. It's against humanity. It's against our basic drive. When you think about it, when you step back and say, what are the greatest features of humans in general? I could go at least two. At least two come to the top of my head. One being we strive, we struggle, we push. Think about that, striving. How many great movies, whether it's, Nazi occupation of this, and we see how people strived and struggled against such evil. But in general, we strive, we struggle. That is probably the very basic core of our being. Life pushes, life strives, life tries to improve. And then, of course, the second one being is we like to create things. We are our happiest when we are into some process of creation. It can be big creations, it can be small creations, but creative expression, I think, is another one of our strengths. So I'm going to exercise both of those. And if you're not striving to be better, when you think about that striving, if you think about that as a core principle, it doesn't matter how far you get in the race. Did you keep running? Like remember when we were in wrestling or jiu-jitsu, did you leave it all on the mat? If we come to our end of the days and we can smile at each other and say, we left it all on the mat, then that's happy days. And you did it. We win.
I do know that I have, like this, when you have an outlet to obtain fulfillment, I find that this DIY aspect of my life where, trying to figure it out, my lights just went out in my garage. It's got what's called a ballast. I had to get different ballast, you have to remove the ballast from the lights, and I went to LED, and I've still got to do this, but I didn't even know what the heck a ballast was. But there's a fulfillment at the end of the day when you're like, I learned it, I rewired it, I now have the lights that are working. It's like you need that fulfillment. I know that's so important for me. Where at my computer desk 9 hours a day it doesn't give me the same as like what I did in the backyard, where hands-on, tangible. Look at this! I created a retention basin here. What is it? It's a freaking hole. Yeah, no, it's a hole, but now my backyard doesn't flood here. Now it floods over there, and it's like you see the pictures, and I see where I came from, and then using the nibble approach, I was able to accomplish that. So I think that's really important. Also, one other thing I wanted to touch on was retirement. I can't understand people saying they get to retirement, they got nothing to do. I got a list the size of I was going to say schlong, but I want to keep this respectful because it's a very big list.
Joe, remember,
3 inches is a big list. Jeez.
I was going to say, Joe, remember, it's not only about length, it's about girth too,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like, but you know what I'm saying here, that I don't get it. If you have purpose, they say that we're all good at something and that we're supposed to find out what that is, because when you've now not in the rat race, to me, it's like, man, I'm looking forward to that. And I know this other guy in my work, he was always in shape. When he hit 65 and he retired, he comes back for our Bible studies, but this dude is like into this and he's into that. He's got this and he's busy nonstop. Like his best event was retiring, that he can do the things he wants. Not, well, now I don't know what to do and I'm sitting around the house. Like, who the heck's going to be doing that? So there's a different mindset. But Mike, you said it. We have strong wills. There's one thing that we definitely got, whatever, from genetics. Like, we put our minds to it. Frank is like that too. When he puts his mind to it, you know what I mean? Like, we want to lose weight. I don't care. If I have to starve for 3 days, I am like, we just set our minds to it. And it's one of the things I think that's strong in our family,
Right.
that we are strong-minded individuals. And I think that's Lori. I think that's Christine. I don't know about John, but you know what I mean. You can see it's in it. What do you think of what I just spoke about?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking that as I get older, I like the philosophy of eliminating the distractions, eliminating things as much as possible, and getting to my core values and things that align with my personality, and things that align with what I know about myself and have learned, to focus on what I value and adding value to whatever. Like I would like to add value to people or things, and I think that's becomes more possible if I eliminate the other shit, and just get in on what I think is important.
I think that's a good one, because also you got to kind of figure out your core values. So even thinking about it from that perspective, just the exercise of saying, well, what's really important to me is a good exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. There's one last slide here.
One more slide.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
So this just talks about what I call the end game. And again, I think, and I've been doing obviously more and more and a lot of thinking about this. I don't 100% have the answer, but I do know. I talk about things like, I've been talking with Joe and Christian. You're welcome to join us. We talk about things like, maybe doing some kind of homestead, focusing on self-reliance. I actually agree with you, Joe, in terms of balance. I actually do balance some kind of physical, like, maintenance chore, at least one during the weekend, because besides just the fact that obviously there's, with, as you guys know, home ownership, there's always something to do, but also it's enjoyable to not just have intellectual pursuits, but also get your hands dirty. That's an aside, but back onto the end game. I think really more and more thinking about, well, what do you want the end game to look like, so I've been thinking about, and I do think I could see us trying to do a homestead type thing, try to get something like no less than between 75 and 100 acres. Put some tiny houses on there. I mean, I think community and self-reliance and stuff like that it would be a pretty cool end game.
Yeah, that's cool.
If we bring Christian on, he's got to milk the cow. Last man on milks the cow.
Joe's been fighting me on this milk the cow thing. He's like, I don't want to milk the cow. You're milking the cow.
What's that?
And now he just tried to pass the baton.
Did you ever
won't
see
we
that
have
movie?
AI? Won't we have a milking AI robot at that point? Come on, man.
Oh, you lucky son of a! You probably. There was this. Mike showed me this movie with this old guy that started a farm. There was some eye-opening events that this dude had to do with his freaking pigs and his cows.
Have you seen Clarkson's Farm, Christian, on Amazon Prime?
No, what's it called? Carnegie's Farm?
Oh, Clarkson's Farm.
Oh, Clarkson's Farm. Never heard of that.
Yeah, so Jeremy Clarkson is pretty well known. He's been like a TV personality for years in the UK, and he was a guy who did the Grand Tour, and there was a car show before the Grand Tour. I forget. It was like a long-running car show, very well known. The Grand Tour was Amazon's sequel to it. There was a UK show. It slips my mind. Anyway, Jeremy Clarkson was one of the main guys in it. It was 3 British guys. Very popular show. But then the guy who was running his farm, I think he's got around 100 acres. or maybe more than 100 acres. But he's got a farm in Britain, and he said, I'll do the farm myself. Anyway, highly worth watching, very funny, and it's him learning how to become a farmer.
Nice.
Of course, and he's an old fat guy, and he's hilarious. He's trying everything. Trust me, you will very much enjoy.
All right.
It's funny, you know,
That's cool.
especially if you like thinking that you're going to do something like this. That's why I found it even more entertaining, because you're trying to do this and growing vegetables and things like that. I know he's doing it on a mass scale, but that's the easy part in comparison to the live animals.
Yeah.
Yo, when your cow has to have a baby and you're sticking your arm up there to pull out the freaking calf, you're in another place. You're like, okay, get the professional. We better have access. There was some.
I wonder if some people just do goat's milk or something, or instead of getting cows. Is that, I mean, is there an easier way?
Actually, there's some people who like goat's milk better, but you can do goats. Goats are also good for clearing off things. I mean, I don't know anything about it. I would say basically, you start small. You start small, and as you get more skill, even here, I'm only on 3 acres, but I'm going to try chickens.
Yeah.
I will try chickens. So
the guy actually, when I moved in, had a coop. I got rid of it, but the guy had a chicken coop. A lot of people right around here, we don't have a lot of land at all, but I mean, people around here just have a small yard and they'll have chickens in the yard. They get a lot of eggs and stuff, right? I mean, you get they produce a lot of those things.
They produce a lot of eggs. I constantly see when I had people at work, and the ones that had chickens, they were always like, "Oh yeah, you want some eggs?"
Yeah,
they were always giving eggs away.
Yeah, and he did like something where he left the rooster in there, and they were like, "You left the rooster in there," and it was like, he had eggs galore. It was one of these like crazy. Anyway, this was good. This was a good one. So Christian's got next week.
Yeah.
No. I cannot believe you.
I'm just looking at the schedule, man. Right? Chris, Joe.
Joe, yep.
Oh, Joe.
All right, fellas.
All right, thank you.
How we doing?
Have a
Arrivederci.